I'm sitting in the business class lounge at Shanghai railway station, and I'm here for a very special reason. I'm actually taking a train from here in Shanghai to Beijing, and the reason I'm taking this train is this line operates one of the world's fastest trains, and is China's fastest train, and it's the Fuxing CR400, and it has a in-service operation speed of 400 kilometers an hour, and it has an average cruising speed of about 290 kilometers an hour. So I wanted to show you guys what this train is like. I've bought a business class ticket, which is the most expensive ticket you can buy. So let's go and experience it together. So it's quite a nice, comfortable environment here in the business class lounge. You've got some drinks and snacks, and then all around here is the boards showing the train departure times and things like that. Mine's the G14, which is scheduled to depart at 11:53. Whoa, what a beautiful train that is. So you're able to go straight from the business class lounge onto the platform. You don't have to go back through the other waiting room, which is pretty cool. Right, we're in seat 5F. 你好。谢谢。几号座位？5F. Oh, 5F. Oh, this is our seat here. This one here. These little suites here. This is pretty nice. Got the whole carriage here. It's lovely. 你好. So the train is supposed to depart at 11:53. So let's just see how punctual it is. I've now got my slippers on and my legs are stretched right out, which is great. Very comfortable indeed. Got a little hook here to hang your clothes on. Well, I apologise for the flickering lights. There's obviously a frequency causing that in the frequency of the lights, but I've tried the camera on all the different settings, and I can't seem to get it to stop. It's a very grey, cold, rainy day outside today, but nice and warm and cosy here in this seat. So according to my phone, we've just gone to 11:54. So it's actually, we're a minute over when we're supposed to depart. I will say though that generally trains are much more reliable from a time point of view than flying. Actually this ticket, the journey cost is 2,330 RMB, and that's for a business class ticket. I'll give you the prices for regular tickets a little later, but that's significantly more expensive than I could get a flight between Shanghai and Beijing. However, flights tend to be delayed a lot more, and checking in at the train station, there's a lot less hassle from security and that point of view. Just one minute over 11:53, and we are leaving the station in Shanghai. So this is actually one of the busiest routes in China, the Shanghai to Beijing line, and this train is the G14. and I wanted this one specific because I knew it was the latest Fuxing CR400, and it's China's most modern train. But interestingly, this morning I read some news just before I got on the train that either next year, 2025, Chinese Railway anticipates introducing a train onto the Beijing-Shanghai line that will do an average speed of 450 kilometers an hour, cutting the journey time down to 2.5 hours, and that's just incredible, really. So around 10 to 15 minutes into the journey, the young lady has come around and asked us if we want drinks, and the choices were orange juice, Sprite, black tea or Pepsi, and I opted for Pepsi. Now she also asked what I would like for lunch, and the choices were pork and rice or beef and rice, and I've gone for the beef and rice. But I've often complained or moaned a little bit about the quality of the food on the high-speed train service here. Yeah, not impressed with the food. I think from my experience, business class food on airlines is way better than the business class food on the high-speed train. I haven't really eaten much of it. Not very impressed at all. This is interesting. We're beside a highway, and the cars just look as if they're going so slow. We're absolutely flying past them. Look, it's just gives you a sense of the speed we're doing. Oh, you can see how slow those cars look to be moving on the highway now. They will probably be doing around 100 kilometers an hour on the highway, and we are passing them as if they're absolutely stood still. So it is my first time on this particular train with this business class configuration, and it's very, very nice. I like it. It's kind of your own little private room on a plane. It actually very much reminds me of the layout of the first class on the Emirates A380, although that doesn't have the door. It does remind me of that. So I think they maybe borrowed some of the idea here from business class on airlines, but it's very, very nice. It's very, very comfortable. Now I've had a little bit of a bite to eat. I didn't eat much of the lunch, but I've eaten a couple of snacks. I've finished off my Pepsi, so now I'm going to get my head down on this lie flat seat. So the pillow here. Now I'm 6 foot tall, and this is plenty big enough for me. Put my glasses there. But yeah, I'm gonna have a little sleep, so I'll see you a little bit later. So just to give you an idea of pricing on this route and this train, as I said earlier, the business class was 2,330. It's actually 2,331. I've just checked. If you want first class, that's 1,067. And then standard class, which is second class, is 667, which actually I think is very, very reasonable. You're on the same train. Now I would normally take first class. There's slightly wider seats than second class, and you've got a bit more room if you want to do some work on your laptop or something like that. I still think that's very reasonable. So it's about, I don't know, 3.5 to 4 times the standard fare to travel in business class, and it's a little over double the first class fare. Personally, I wouldn't normally take this because I think it's a bit excessive to spend this kind of money on a sort of journey that's less than 5 hours. But as I say, I did it because I wanted to show you guys what the business class travel was like on this super fast ultra high speed train. So I've just checked the flight costs for later today, obviously, because it's already 3:30 in the afternoon, so our flights are later on this evening. But an economy class flight between Shanghai and Beijing is around about 600 to 700 RMB. And if you want to go business class, it's somewhere between sort of 1,600 and 2,000 RMB. So it is actually considerably cheaper than the train. The flight time is about 2 hours 30, 2 hours 40 minutes. But I think overall, the time of the train being 4 hours 45 is probably not that different from the flight time, you know, given the time of actually going through all the check-in and security at an airport and having to be there and board and all that kind of stuff. Obviously with a train you don't have to board anywhere near as early as you do with a plane. It's actually really quite impressive what China have done with high-speed rail. When I first started coming here almost 20 years ago now, there was no high-speed rail, and I remember my very first experience on a high-speed train. I went from Shanghai to Hangzhou. I forget the journey time, but it was way less than an hour, and previous to that it was above 2 hours. But on numerous times I've travelled from Shanghai to Guangzhou, and that took like 16 or 18 hours. And previously on the green train, that was a very challenging journey. You know, if you had a sleeper, it wasn't too bad. But I once did it in a seat. That was a journey I wouldn't really wish to repeat again. It's quite difficult doing a 17 or 18 hour journey in a train seat. But like now you've got these high-speed trains. Although they are more expensive than the green trains, they are not crazy expensive. And a lot of Westerners will often point out that, oh, you know, he loses money. And yeah, I think overall it probably doesn't make money, but there's a lot of things that are not easily measured. So you've got to think of the benefit to the overall economy the high-speed rail has. And many people move around on the high-speed rail. You know, during New Year they have hundreds of millions of journeys on the high-speed rail. It allows people to get back to their hometowns to see their families and such like. So yeah, I'm very much in favour of it. I just feel that some Westerners will criticise it because it's something that they don't have. Europe has some high-speed trains, but the UK doesn't have any high-speed trains at all. And as far as I'm aware, the USA doesn't have any high-speed trains. But I really like travelling on high-speed trains in China. I actually prefer it to flying, to be honest, because it's much more comfortable. It's much more roomier. I don't always travel business class. Actually, this is slightly over my budget, but I'm actually doing this so I can show you guys what it's actually like if you want to do it. And it's a lovely sort of compartment we have. It's very private. It's very nice. Got a nice big window to look outside there. Sadly, it's a very misty, cloudy day today, but yeah, just the way it is. To give some of these cookies a try from my little cookie box. There it goes. Very nice, very tasty, quite sweet. Yeah, some sort of butter cookie. Very nice. Other thing that I think is great about travelling by train as opposed to aeroplane is you get to see much more of the Chinese countryside or China in general. I mean, looking out of this lovely big panoramic window, it's a bit of a hazy, misty day today. It's a bit overcast, not very clear, but it's still much nicer, you know, watching the Chinese countryside go by than the view you would have out of a plane window. Something else that I want to mention is that you have really good Wi-Fi connectivity on here, so you can work as if you were working in an office. There's no problem at all. I've had great connectivity pretty much all the way to Beijing. So yeah, that's a plus. Okay, so that's it. Shanghai to Beijing on the Fuxing CR400 Intelligent. I really hope you liked that video. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like the channel in general, consider hitting that subscribe button. But as always, for now, take care.